Welcome back to Realms Unveiled, where we tread the line between the darkness and light of the human soul. Tonight's tale takes us deep into the American South, where slavery casts a long shadow over both the enslaved and the enslavers. But beware, dear listeners, this story isn't for the faint of heart. It delves into the brutality of the past to give voice to the vengeful spirits that never found peace. So sit tight and let's embark on this haunting journey. In the opulent chambers of the Hamilton Plantation House lived Eleanor Hamilton, a woman of unyielding disposition. It wasn't just the slaves who quaked at her footsteps. Even her husband, Charles Hamilton, a hard man himself, tread carefully around her. Rumors trickled through the grapevine, whispers that Charles had fathered a child with a slave named Clara. Eleanor's heart filled with a volcanic rage when the whispers reached her ears, not so much at her husband's betrayal, but at the audacity of the slave woman to step beyond her place. Determined to send a chilling message, Eleanor ordered the overseer Thomas to tie Clara to the whipping post. Even Thomas hesitated when he saw Clara's heavily pregnant form. "Do you eat?" Eleanor screeched. Her command was so terrifying that even the unborn child inside Clara would have obeyed. With every lash, Clara's cries filled the air, reverberating through the cotton fields and into the heavens. Finally, a different kind of cry erupted, one of birth. An infant emerged from Clara, who was now slipping into unconsciousness from the agony. Eleanor approached and poured boiling water over the tiny being, silencing its cries forever. Clara gave one last shuddering gasp and then died. Years later, Amelia, the daughter Clara bore from Charles, blossomed into a woman of remarkable talent. Raised by Clara's sister Naomi under the guise of being the illegitimate child of Thomas, Amelia was brought into the main house for her cooking and musical skills. Eleanor found herself strangely drawn to Amelia, unaware that she was embracing her husband's illegitimate child. Then came the fateful night when Amelia stood by the lake, her voice blending with the wind as she called upon her ancestors. An ethereal voice responded, "It is time." The next morning, Amelia brewed a special tea for Eleanor, infusing it with a poisonous plant native to the region. As Eleanor sipped the tea, her face contorted in pain. Her belly began to swell abnormally, and for 9 torturous months she endured the growing horror within her. Finally, Eleanor gave birth to something. No, not a child, but a grotesque entity. The moment it latched onto her breast, Eleanor felt her life force drain away. She died, cold and lifeless, her eyes wide in everlasting terror. The monstrous child was buried beside Clara, and it was said that the night it was interred, the cries of an infant and a mother echoed through the plantation, finally at peace beside each other. What a haunting story! Here, revenge spanned generations and realms, teaching us that the deeds of the past are never truly buried. They claw their way out, demanding justice, peace, and sometimes retribution. Now, as we prepare for our next tale. This, a chilling discussion where we talk about how the boundary between our world and others is merely a flicker in the cosmic tapestry. Tonight, we delve into the realm of quantum physics and the allure of bending time and space. What if someone tried to quantum jump without proper guidance? Be careful what you wish for, dear listeners, for this tale might leave you pondering the consequences of tampering with the very fabric of reality. Meet Samuel, a young, audacious physicist who'd been fascinated with the concept of quantum jumping. He believed he could move between alternate realities through sheer will and mental focus. No need for mentors, no need for ancient tomes, just the pure, unadulterated audacity of human curiosity. Late one night, with a circle of quantum equations spread around him like a magical sigil, he sat cross-legged in his dimly lit apartment, closed his eyes, and focused. Time seemed to stretch and snap like a rubber band until suddenly Samuel found himself in a different dimension altogether. The sky was tinged a menacing shade of purple, and strange celestial bodies moved in chaotic orbits. What caught his attention most were the looming spaceships in the sky, fierce battles igniting between them. Before he could react, he was captured by an alien race, the Zirconians, who saw in him a rare specimen from an uncharted dimension, the Earth realm. Confined in an extraterrestrial lab, Samuel became a test subject for experiments that would make the rumored Area 51 look like a child's playroom. Each day brought new agonies. Electrodes were attached to his nerves, sending waves of excruciating pain that seemed to tear the very essence of his being apart. His body was sliced and probed, cellular samples taken and manipulated. Worst of all, his consciousness was uploaded into their database to be dissected, studied, and manipulated in a virtual hell that defied any earthly description of torment. Samuel's last shred of hope disappeared when he was placed in an isolation chamber, a space where not even thoughts could escape. Here, in a twisted inversion of his quantum jumping experiment, his consciousness was fragmented into 1,000 pieces, each experiencing a unique form of torment, splintered but aware, a kaleidoscope of never-ending anguish. Back on Earth, Samuel's physical body was found lifeless in his apartment, seated in the same position he'd been in when he began his ill-fated journey. The circle of quantum equations remained untouched but now irrelevant. The authorities ruled it as an unexplainable death, his physical form showing no signs of trauma. And so concludes tonight's episode. Samuel's quest for knowledge led him to an eternal prison, a grim reminder that some doors are best left unopened. Whether it's tampering with the ancient or the futuristic, always remember that the darkness lurking on the other side is often more real than we could ever imagine. Good night, dear listeners. Until the next episode of the Occult Chronicles Realms Unveiled, tread carefully in the corridors of curiosity.